The cabin lights glowed softly as passengers boarded Flight 278 from Atlanta to Los Angeles. Most people were tired, scrolling their phones, finding seats. But in the middle of the crowd stood Darius Cole, a tall, calm black man in his late 30s wearing a simple navy hoodie, jeans, and a baseball cap. Nothing flashy. Nothing about him screamed important. He moved with quiet confidence, rolling his small carry-on down the aisle. But to one flight attendant, that confidence looked like attitude. Before we start, hit that like and subscribe button, then comment where you're watching from. Your support keeps these powerful stories coming. Sir, the attendant snapped, stepping in front of him, that bag looks oversized. You'll need to check it. Darius glanced at her, polite but firm. It fits the overhead. I've flown this airline for years. I know the policy. The woman, Carla, folded her arms. I work here. I think I know the policy better than you. Her tone dripped with condescension. Passengers nearby started glancing over, sensing the tension. Darius smiled faintly, trying to keep the peace. No problem, he said, opening the overhead bin and sliding the bag in effortlessly. It fit with room to spare. Carla's jaw tightened. You're not going to get far with that attitude, sir, she muttered. Darius frowned slightly. I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, she said louder this time, people need to learn how to follow instructions instead of arguing. The cabin went quiet. A few passengers shifted uncomfortably. Darius just stared at her, the calm in his eyes somehow louder than her words. He took his seat, first class, window side, and put on his headphones, trying to ignore the whispers. But Carla wasn't done. As the plane taxied down the runway, she stopped by his seat again. Sir, you'll need to put that phone away now. He lowered his headphones. I'm texting my assistant to confirm my arrival time. The plane hasn't taken off yet. That's not the point, she snapped. Rules apply to everyone. You people think, she stopped herself, realizing what almost slipped out. But Darius caught it. You people. He slowly placed his phone down, eyes never leaving hers. Is there a problem here? Carla gave a fake smile. No problem, unless you make one. The other passengers were staring now, some whispering under their breath, others recording quietly. The pilot's voice came over the intercom. Flight attendants, please take your seats for takeoff. Carla turned sharply and walked away. But not before Darius said quietly, you might want to treat everyone with respect. You never know who's watching. She rolled her eyes and muttered, yeah, sure. 30 minutes later, mid-flight, Carla reappeared with the drink cart. She skipped right over Darius, serving everyone else around him. The man sitting across the aisle, a white businessman, leaned over. That's not right, he whispered. You didn't even ask him if he wanted anything. Carla's smile tightened. Oh, he knows how to ask if he wants something. Darius raised an eyebrow. Actually, I did ask earlier. Guess you didn't hear me. She sighed dramatically. Fine. What do you want? A coffee. Black. No sugar. Figures, she muttered under her breath, walking off. The passengers around them exchanged uneasy looks. Darius just leaned back, eyes on the ceiling. He'd dealt with this before, too many times. But something about today felt different. He wasn't angry. Just tired. When she returned, she handed him the coffee with a fake smile. The cup slipped, intentionally or not, and hot liquid splashed onto his hand and shirt. He hissed in pain, standing up fast. Carla gasped dramatically. Sir, you need to calm down. Don't get aggressive. The entire cabin froze. Darius stared at her, coffee dripping down his wrist. Aggressive? His voice was low. Controlled. You spill coffee on me and I'm the problem? Carla stepped back. Sit down or I'll have the pilot turn this plane around. Murmurs spread through the passengers. One woman stood up from coach. No, ma'am, I saw everything. You did that on purpose. Carla spun toward her. Stay out of this. The pilot's voice came through the intercom again, concerned. Everything all right up there? Carla pressed the button on the wall. Minor issue. One of the passengers is being disruptive. Darius's jaw tightened. Disruptive? He sat down slowly, wiping his hand with a napkin. You know what, let's just finish the flight. Carla glared at him, but for the first time, she saw something in his eyes, a calm authority that made her step back. The rest of the flight was silent. When they landed, Carla stormed up to the gate manager before anyone could even stand. That man in 2A? He was disrespectful, argumentative, and nearly caused a scene. I want him flagged. The manager blinked. Flagged? Yes. People like that shouldn't be flying first class. I don't care who he thinks he is. The manager hesitated. Carla, you might want to check who you're talking about before filing that report. What? She scoffed. He's just some entitled guy with money. The manager looked nervous. That entitled guy is Darius Cole. Carla frowned. And who's that supposed to be? The manager swallowed. The owner of this airline. Carla froze. What? Before she could speak again, the cabin door opened, and Darius stepped out, his shirt still stained from the coffee, calm as ever. The passengers watched, some smiling knowingly. He walked straight up to Carla and the manager. Everything okay here? He asked, his tone smooth but sharp enough to slice through the silence. Carla's voice shook. And Mr. Cole, He held up a hand. No need to explain. I saw everything. Heard everything. Her face drained of color. I built this airline on one rule, he continued. Everyone, is treated with dignity and respect. That includes the people you look down on. Tears welled in Carla's eyes. I didn't mean. He nodded slightly. I believe you didn't mean to get caught. The crowd went quiet. The gate manager stood frozen. Darius turned to the passengers. I apologize for the behavior you witnessed today. This isn't what this company stands for. Then he looked back at Carla. You'll be hearing from HR. But before that, take a week off. Reflect on what it means to serve people, not judge them. He started to walk away, but paused. And for the record? I never wanted to embarrass you. I wanted to remind you, humility is free. Arrogance is expensive. The passengers applauded quietly as he walked off, leaving Carla standing there, trembling. Later that night, Darius sat in his hotel suite, staring out at the city lights. His phone buzzed with messages from the board, praising how he'd handled the incident. But his mind was elsewhere. He opened an email, an anonymous message with the subject line, "You think you own the skies? Wait until you see who owns you." Attached was a photo of Carla, not crying, not fired, but shaking hands with a man wearing a rival airline's pin. Darius leaned forward, narrowing his eyes. "Guess this isn't over," he whispered. The camera zooms in on the glowing city skyline as his phone rings again. Unknown number. He answers. A deep voice says, "Mr. Cole, you just disrupted something much bigger than one flight attendant. And now, they're coming for you." The night after the incident, Darius Cole barely slept. The anonymous message still echoed in his mind, "You think you own the skies? Wait until you see who owns you." He'd seen power plays before, rival airlines trying to buy him out, investors turning on him for profit, but this felt different. Personal. By morning, news outlets had already picked up the story. Clips from passengers' phones went viral. Flight attendant tries to humiliate black passenger in first class. But what shocked the world was the ending. The passenger wasn't just anyone. He was the owner. Public opinion erupted in Darius's favor. People praised his calmness, his dignity. But buried under the praise, he noticed something odd. Certain media outlets were twisting the story, making him look like the aggressor. The videos were edited, the headlines slanted. And when he checked the airline stock that afternoon, it had dropped 12%. Someone was using the scandal against him. He sat in his corner office overlooking Atlanta, phone pressed to his ear. "Find out who's behind those edited clips," he told his assistant. "Someone's pulling strings." "Yes, sir," came the reply. Just then, his door opened. It was Carla. Her eyes were red, her posture smaller than before. "Mr. Cole, I just wanted to say." He raised a hand. "You've already said enough." "No, please," she interrupted, trembling. "I didn't mean for things to go that far. But someone told me to target you." He frowned. "What do you mean, someone told you?" She nodded, biting her lip. "A man came to see me 2 days before the flight. Said he worked for a consulting firm that partners with the airline. He told me to test your patience, to make you look bad. Said it was just a public relations experiment." Darius stood slowly. "A setup." Carla nodded. "He paid me. Cash. Told me to make you lose your cool on camera. I didn't know who you were, but, he said if I embarrassed you, I'd be promoted to head flight supervisor." The room went cold. "Do you remember his name?" Darius asked. She swallowed hard. "Just his first. Mason." Darius's eyes narrowed. "Mason Grant. The rival airline CEO." 2 hours later, Darius was on a private jet bound for New York, where Mason's corporate office was located. The irony wasn't lost on him, flying through the skies he once thought he controlled, only to realize his enemies had been flying beneath him all along. When he arrived at the towering glass building, Mason was already waiting, sitting behind a polished mahogany desk, a smirk on his face. Well, Mason said, standing up. "Mr. Cole. To what do I owe the pleasure?" Darius stared him down. "You know why I'm here." Mason chuckled. "I assume this is about that little flight incident? I saw the footage. Tough break." Darius didn't blink. "You sent that woman." You orchestrated the entire thing. Mason leaned back, smirking. Or maybe she acted on her own. Emotions, you know how they get. But even if I did, what can you do? Fire me from my company? Darius smiled faintly. No. But I can expose you. And when I do, your shareholders will drop you faster than a jet without fuel. Mason laughed. You really think anyone will believe you? The internet's already turning against you. All I did was feed the narrative. He leaned closer. You might own the airline, Darius, but I own the story. Darius's expression didn't change. Funny thing about stories, Mason, they always end differently when truth gets a turn to speak. He slid a flash drive across the desk. Mason frowned. What's this? Evidence, Darius said. Recordings. Payments. Your consulting firm bribing Carla. I have everything. Mason's smirk faltered. That's impossible. Darius turned toward the door. You underestimated me. Again. As he walked out, Mason shouted, You'll regret this, Cole. You don't know who you're dealing with. Darius didn't look back. Neither did you. A week later, the internet exploded. News broke of Mason Grant's corruption, leaked documents, secret payments, staged PR scandals against minority CEOs. Carla came forward publicly, confessing everything. Darius, instead of punishing her, used her confession to spark change within his company. He launched a new initiative, Respect Above All. Mandatory training, employee protection programs, and fair opportunity policies across every division. The media called it the Cole Standard. But behind the smiles and press conferences, Darius wasn't celebrating. Because something didn't add up. Carla's final statement said Mason wasn't acting alone. Someone inside Darius's own airline helped him, feeding insider info, schedules, and travel plans. A mole. One night, as Darius worked late in his dimly lit office, he noticed his computer mouse moving, on its own. Files opened. Documents deleted. He grabbed his phone to call IT, but before he could dial, a new message appeared on his screen. The skies belong to no man, Cole. You took one down. But the system runs deeper than you think. The screen flickered. Then a live camera feed appeared. It showed Mason Grant, in prison orange, smiling. And beside him, in the reflection of the glass, stood a familiar silhouette. His own vice president. Darius's jaw clenched. So that's how far this goes. He leaned forward, determination burning in his eyes. You want to play war, he whispered. Then let's fly. The next morning, the headlines read. Cole Airlines announces internal investigation, corruption ring reaches top executives. The boardroom was silent as Darius entered, his presence commanding every eye in the room. I trusted this company to represent fairness, he said. But some of you sold that trust for greed. No one moved. No one spoke. Then one executive, trembling, tried to speak up. Sir, you don't understand. Oh, I understand perfectly, Darius interrupted. You thought I'd be too focused on fighting Mason to see what was happening behind me. You forgot who built this airline from nothing. You forgot where I came from. He stood, tall and unshaken. From now on, every decision, every contract, every dollar spent will be audited. The days of manipulation end today. He pressed a button on the table, the projector flickered on, showing screenshots of internal emails, wire transfers, and forged signatures. Gasps filled the room. This is justice, Darius said quietly. Not revenge. Justice. He turned toward the window, the morning sun spilling across his face. But just as he thought it was over, his phone buzzed again. Unknown number. He hesitated, then answered. A distorted voice whispered, You might have cleared the skies above you, Mr. Cole, but you've just entered ours. The call ended. Darius stared at the phone, a chill running down his spine. Outside, a private jet soared through the clouds, its tail logo unfamiliar, its flight path unregistered. He knew what it meant. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a new war in the skies. The End Airplane. Comment below if you know you enjoyed the story. Also don't forget to follow, subscribe and turn on the notification button for more stories coming up.